Thanks, OneDrive, for showing me
For
a
always being there.
memory, showing me a photo of my from my 35th birthday party where me and my ex are embracing.
Ah, yes. OneDrive. Always there to help. Nobody trusts OneDrive,
Not even two drive.
especially 2Drive.
Too much energy. Beast Wars!
Man, these things look like toys.
I don't even have a mouth, Megatron. I am transformed.
Sigma balls, Gary. Maximal, Maximal. Does that mean transform?
Trying is better than nothing, much like this podcast.
No, not that. Ah!
Greetings, Autobots. Welcome to episode 99 of Too Much Energon, the weekly podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. I almost did the introductory blurb from another podcast that we do, the Lasercomb podcast, but I stuck with it. Coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain somewhere hidden on planet Energon, I am the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm your other host, coming from a mysterious flying island of Energon, special Energon, that gets you juiced.
Right.
It's me, NeoCal.
How we doing, Cal?
Pretty good. It has transitioned abruptly from summer to fall lately, even though it's like late October.
Yeah, I know. It was in the span of like a couple of days. It just all of a sudden, it's like,
There was
boom,
that
it's
one
fall.
day when it was like 22.
Yep.
And then all the leaves fell and it was Halloween.
Yep, literally in like the span of a day.
I've never experienced that in my life. I know
No.
it's called like I think it's like in Indian summer is when it continues to be hot, like through parts of September and stuff. I don't know where that term like came from, but that was like the term for it.
Right.
But it's never been like summer into deep October.
Yeah. I mean, that's just add that to my "the world is coming to an end" scorecard.
Your bingo world is coming to an end bingo card.
Yeah, that bingo card, right?
Who had getting sunburned on October 20th? Anybody?
Anybody? Nobody? Oh, well, okay then.
Huh.
I mentioned on the podcast a little while ago that I got a car for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, I've decided I'm not going to do that anymore. So
How dare you?
So old Cliff Jumper, as I named him, is going off to the farm to run and play with all the other cars.
With all the other wild cars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with all the other wild cars.
Just picture you in your like driveway, like a single tear running down your cheek. You're like, I'm sorry, Cliff Jumper. And like a neighbor or a roommate who's like, what the hell are you doing? It has to be done.
I've got the Megatron like golden gun in hand, just ready to fire.
Handshaking. I am a weapon.
Look away, Cliff Jumper. Look away, damn it. Look away, please.
Remember those good times.
Oh, God. On that note, as I mentioned, this is episode 99 of Too Much Energon, and we are talking about Battle for Robot Planet Empire, Chapter 5. We're almost there.
That's right.
We're almost
Now with karate chop action.
with wrong franchise.
Oh.
Hey, maybe that can be a new podcast idea right there. Too much Cobra.
Too much cobras.
Too much Cobra, where we talk about GI Joe shit and talk shit about giant snakes.
Or snakes that try to appear bigger than they really are. They're
Snakes
more than meets the eye.
more than meets the R.
More than meets the eye.
Snakes of the on a plane variety, or on a train.
Scorpions on a train.
Scorpions on a train.
What is another venomous insect?
A spider. I guess they're not insects technically.
Spider, yeah. Well, neither is a scorpion. Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
invertebrate. There we go.
There we go.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be because snakes are vertebrates. So it can be anything that's venomous. Should
Even-
probably not be a snake or an arachnid.
Wonder if there's a snake transformer.
Oh, there's one that I hate. Speaking of cobras, I mean, technically he's a snake transformer.
Yeah, he has a snake attached to him.
We're talking about he has part of a snake. We're talking about the monstrosity that is oh, I blocked his name out of my memory.
Quick Strike.
Quick Strike. When he's in his beast form, what the fuck does he look like? Is he kind of like a scorpion, but the scorpion tail is the cobra head?
Yeah. Which I'm like, why did we kill off our man Scorponok?
To get a shittier scorpion.
Yeah.
Like who was like, you know what, let's get rid of like the weird, dumb, but like interesting engineer scorpion guy and get a cowboy rattlesnake scorpion. I'm sure he sold tons of toys.
They actually had a while ago, they had Cherry Bomb Toys in Victoria, British Columbia. They had a mint in box unopened Quick Strike toy, and I think they wanted like $200 for it.
Yeah, what in tarnation? Nothing's worth that much.
What in tarnation?
And you're like, okay, I'll give you a solid 50 for it. Huh? I'll give you a solid 50 for it, and then you pull up that like 3-foot like Cheetor that you have, and you're like, and this, and you move the mouth.
Best I could do, $50 cash.
$50 cash.
Oh.
$50 cash and the key charms on my keychain. Going once.
And for an extra $5, one of my shoes. Just one, though.
And you don't get to know which one. It could be a left one.
Either way, it's going to be from my lucky foot.
A lucky foot.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
so,
We're off the rails here.
Yeah, we're talking about an episode here. We're talking about episode 5, War for Cybertron Kingdom. And stuff happens.
Stuff
Right?
happens.
And I mean, it's like it should be more hype than it is, but
So the episode opens up with a bunch of the Maximals and
start.
Auto. The episode opens up with a bunch of the Maximals and Autobots back at the Ark. They're trying to get it going, get the engines going, but they keep running into problems. And Wheeljack is like Wheeljack is like, or they're the Autobots and the Maximals are like cautioning against like all these things that Wheeljack wants to do, because they're like, hey, we could blow up the ship, and he's like, nah, no way. I can't do his accent for some reason. It's like a destitute plumber brother accent, but I still can't do it.
Yeah, Wheeljack's he's gotta we gotta work on this thing right now.
Yeah,
We
so,
gotta transmogrify the shields into the coaxial stasis chamber. Hey, paisanos.
yeah. So he's like, we have enough power to like punch the arc through the moon, so he doesn't really understand why it's not working.
Right.
Um, the Maximals, in particular, Rhinox is like we really need this to work because like our ship is fucked, so we kind of need the arc to actually work so we can get off of this planet and go back to Cybertron ourselves.
Right. And yeah, we don't even get to see the Axelon in War for Cybertron Kingdom.
All right, I just caught something a glimmer of something weird in my eye.
Uh-oh. Predacons invading?
Could be. I think it might be a fly.
Yeah, so the gist of it is they're like, hey, homies, we got the Allspark.
Yeah.
You know what that means. We need to get your ass to Mars. And they're like, sweet, we can leave now. All of us.
So,
except the Allspark is dying.
yeah. So, Battle David and Justin Prime will show up, and the Maximals like go and greet them. Cheetor even says "Big Bot," but he says it in a weird way. He's not like "Big Bot." He's like "Big Bot" or something like that.
Too much bot. I missed that.
Yeah, he says it in a weird way. And so they're like, yeah, homies, we got the Allspark back. Everything's cool, right? And Battle David's like, no, actually, the Allspark is dying. And the reason why it's dying is because I think it has a symbiotic relationship with Cybertron. One cannot exist without the other. And it's like,
no fucking shit. You
and this is coming
joke we were making. We were like, and then Optimus states the obvious, and everyone claps.
Yeah. And this is coming from the dude who is the reason why the Allspark isn't even on Cybertron anymore to begin with.
And Megatron yelled out, no, you'll destroy the planet. So it feels like it was common. We said this the last like 2 episodes. Did the person that wrote this episode watch any of the other fucking episodes? Right. They already know that.
Yeah.
Like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's a chance I'll have to make. Like, no wonder this guy ended up becoming Nemesis. Like, he's... Oh, Megatron and Megatron and Optimus are... Man, they just kind of suck. Yeah. And I guess the only difference between them is like one tries to suck less and the other doubles down on him sucking. Yeah, and there's kind of like a conflict because like Megatron and Megatron show up and they're like, stop right there, criminal scum.
Nobody breaks the law on my watch. There's this bit with Black Arachnia and Starscream, and Black Arachnia is using her webbing to like hack the golden disc.
I was hoping it would be like Beast Wars, where Tigatron is like in a virtual space like Lawnmower Man, and like opening files and flying around. But it's that kind of thing. It's like, oh, I just need time. I need time. 1 more minute. Watch my back while I hack. When did that become a trope? I blame... What was that hacking movie with Halle Berry? Swordfish?
Oh, that trope was around even before then.
Even before then. Man, I don't know what to blame. I guess it was always semi-present from the 80s.
Yeah, like even in Return of the Jedi, they're like, someone is like, oh, hold them off while I hack this door open.
Right, and the stormtroopers are shooting and they're behind like a little bit of cover. I guess that's always been a thing as far as like futurism. has been concerned.
Yeah, it's like keep the enemy occupied while I do this thing over here.
Yeah, it started as long as there have been sci-fi movies and shows, I guess.
I'm sure it probably even I'm sure it probably goes back even further. Like I'm sure there's some Western out there where they're like, oh, hold them off while I secure the dynamite on the bank vault.
That's a good point. Yeah, or like, hold them back, old chaps, while I crack the safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Starscream gets all pissed off because he's like, oh, Black Arachnia, did you like? Because Black Arachnia is like, oh, I'm hacking the golden disc, and I have this sample of Megatron's energon, so that lets me gain access to it. And Starscream's like, wait, did you and you can see like the wheels turning in his head. He's like, wait, what? You did you collect that while I was fighting Megatron? Did you goad me into fighting Megatron just so you could collect that? And she's like, yeah.
And he's like,
So?
I thought we were boyfriend, girlfriend. Ah! And punches her and steals the boombox? What is the
yeah, the record player.
I mean, technically, that's what the golden disc kind of is, right?
It is. It totally is. Yeah. So
yeah, it's a record player, but she's like hacking it with the Megatron's energon signature. I guess that's a thing. So that they can read it, and Starscream's like, "Fuck you, you're ugly anyway," and like grabs it and flies off.
Fuck you, whore.
And she's like, Starscream, and then a laugh track plays in the background, and she scuttles after him.
Looks like Starscream is doing some star screaming right now. Laugh track. Thank you from the live studio audience.
And yeah, he goes off onto a mountain by himself, and he's like, I'll show them. I'll show all of them. And he enters Iron Man 3D Windows mode.
Yeah, he spins up the golden disc, and This Means War by Busta Rhymes starts playing.
Yeah, he's serious now.
I introduced that song to a couple of my roommates last night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Something weird happens though when our boy, this is a good Starscream episode. I know I was like, stuff happens and it's boring, but like if it wasn't for Starscream, this episode would be a bust. And it gets to show him change a little bit, even though that change is driven through fear. But I mean, really, it's kind of like the defining characteristic of Starscream, right?
So Starscream is listening to the golden disc, and
he's like, "This beat is fire." Listening to Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
And then something
he
that a
figures
record
out.
player shouldn't do.
Well, he
happens.
figures out that Megatron becomes Galvatron and becomes a slave to Unicron.
He's like, Galvatron and Megatron are the same? And at this point, this is the first time in the episode.
They just had the same voice actor.
And at this point, I stop and I'm like, why does Starscream know who Galvatron is?
I was thinking that too. It's like so far that in this show we've only seen Galvatron reach out like across time, the space-time continuum to in the dead universe to Megatron, and Starscream was not there for that. So how does he know who Galvatron
the Beast Formers could look through archives and go, "Oh, cool, Galvatron," and they might know that or know of Galvatron, but probably also know that.
Well, indeed they do, because later on, Justin Primal is when he's fighting with Galavar, he's like, why are you simping hard for Galvatron? And he's like, but because of me, he's not going to become Galvatron. He's going to be My Lord Megatron, forever.
Right. Yeah. So they're from the future
Yeah,
of the Autobots, right? So the Maximals and Predacons, like, they already know that. But like for me, Starscream, he's like, what? Megatron? OG Megatron is Galvatron? And it's like, but why do you know who Galvatron is?
exactly.
I, so there we go. A second. I said there's like 5.2 of the writers of this episode not reading or watching any of the previous episodes.
Right.
Like, why? Why is it falling apart so bad? Like, fuck, did they just kind of give up and like throw Kingdom at like their interns and and say go nuts? And they were like, "Oh, but sir, I've never watched Transformers before. Is that okay? I don't care. See ya. I'm gonna go hang out with what studio did this again?
Writes the
I'm gonna go write the 800th episode of Ruby.
Here, unpaid intern, finish writing the script for this episode. I got bitches to fuck.
I got bitches to fuck. And social media to screw up.
Yep. So yeah, you said the record player does something that record player shouldn't, and I think I know what you're getting at, in that it talks to him.
And pulls him into another reality.
Yeah.
But not only that, instead of talking as if it's a recording or through a memory, Unicron like actually like reaches out to Starscream. And he's like, wake up, wake up. There's no place like home. Fuck this.
Black Arachnia shows up while Starscream is being mind fucked by Unicron. And she shows up and she's like shit talking him harsh. And she's like,
yeah,
wait.
The fact that she didn't just peace out, she's still like coming back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, you're a pussy and you're afraid of like taking control, and I do know all about Air Commander Starscream. He was too cowardly and he always waited for someone else to make a move or screw up before taking anything for himself.
Right.
And he somehow doesn't care about any of that. He's just like, we have to stop him.
Yeah, I actually
like he
like
completely
this.
like changes, and I like this arc in him.
Yeah.
Which means too that despite the fact he didn't care about like seemingly didn't care about genocide back when they were on Cybertron, just wanted to kill all of them or whatever. I think getting a glimpse into the destruction of all intelligent life,
yeah,
like kind of shook him to his core. It's not just about the Transformers or Cybertron like anymore. It's about like
well, and indeed also he figures out that apparently the entire war has just been orchestrated by Unicron.
Yeah,
which is an odd plan. I'd like to know what Unicron, like, his actual like goal is.
But also how.
But how? So him and Black Arachnia like fuck off to like go to the Autobots, which they do. Back at the Ark, they Starscream is greeted by Bumblebee, and he has the golden disc, and he's like, yeah, this has all been like the entire war, like everything that's happened has all been orchestrated by him. And I'm not
like, this is sussy. What the hell's wrong with him?
He's
and
like,
Black Arachnia's there, yeah.
He's like, I know I sound crazy, but like it's true. You have to believe me. The future I'm not strong enough, so the future belongs in more capable hands. And he gives Bumblebee the golden disc.
Yeah, and he's
and
in
then
Autobot hands.
Then like a fucking idiot, Bumblebee breaks the thing.
Oh, I was gonna say like a fucking boss. I'm like, my man, Bumblebee, hell yeah, break that fucking disc.
Oh, I didn't like that at all.
Oh, we had two different reactions there.
And
I loved it.
And then, wouldn't you know it, the Nemesis shows up with the Decepticons on board, and they start firing on the ship.
Predacons too, presumably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Predacons too, because Galavar is there.
Oh, Galavar.
So
More
Starscream.
like Gallivant. Fuck. And so,
Oh God.
so they're like, well, come aboard, grab a beer, shut the fuck up, and don't pull any fast ones, and welcome aboard. And they just like take Starscream and Black Arachnia like in for some reason. I'd have just slammed the door shut and been like, have fun. You're literally the least two trustworthy individuals in the entire franchise. Well, Tarantulas is number 3, I guess. Two of the least trustworthy, and it's like, come aboard.
And
Predacon and Decepticon that totally aren't going to try anything.
and
But when you know it, they don't.
grab me a beer from the fridge on your way.
Don't crack it open. I can smell piss a mile away.
In fact, bring me 2. One for now, one for 5 minutes from now.
And then Rhinox Stone Cold smashes them over his head, and he's like, all right, let's get this thing going, and gives it the old Fonz smash, and it doesn't quite work yet. And
something's not working with this here Autobot arc. We looks like we might need a jump.
well, rip in peace.
Get Wheeljack, good buddy, get out the jumper cables.
Yeah, and it just seeing them in the Nemesis makes me wonder like why the Nemesis wasn't flying around shooting at them this whole time anyway.
Good point.
Like, didn't this crash land?
Yeah.
Why weren't
Oh,
they
yeah.
in it this
When did
whole
they
time?
repair it? Huh. I that didn't even occur to
There
me.
you go.
So
That's what is that? 3, 4?
the refrigerator test continues to be failed.
What is it when you don't need to go to the refrigerator to you catch them live? Yeah, but they're flying in the Nemesis, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Completely powered up, lasers blasting the Ark. The Ark is functional almost for some reason. It reveals why it hasn't been working and been acting weird a little bit later, but meh, kind of feels like a weird cop-out. It's
Mm.
just like one of those things to draw out tension and stretch out the season. It's just like, oh geez, Teletran doesn't want to work until he does. But it makes sense.
Well,
the long story short is that when they bring the Allspark
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
onto the Ark,
We find out
something
that
happens.
Teletran 1 had been dedicating like all of its resources to reconfiguring itself, if you will, but it needed the Allspark to complete the process.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I guess he's a transformer unbeknownst to them. And the AI of the Ark gained sentience when they were traveling through the dark universe. And experienced infinite time through infinite, pulled a Doctor Strange, basically.
Yeah, through the infinite multiverse.
Yeah.
And indeed, that's how it got the
And
schematics.
Teletran held up his finger. There's one way we could fix the timeline. And they were like, what's that? Domo. Domo.
Arigato.
Arigato. Nemesis. And Prime's like, hey. And he's like, no, I meant the ship. Yeah, it's kind of confusing and stupid. Transformers fans, hey. But I'm jumping ahead of myself here. There's some good moments here because they decide to
the
hack the Nemesis. It's simple. We hack the Nemesis.
Yeah, so they radio Battle David is like open a hailing frequency, and they hail Megatron on the Nemesis, and Battle David is like, Megatron, stop, you'll blow up the Allspark, and Megatron's like, the Allspark will survive the destruction, but you won't. And I'm like, Good on you, Megatron. Just
But will it? That's a weird thing to gamble on. He's all or nothing now. He's
he's
pathetic.
He lost it a while ago.
Yeah, he's nothing.
So Justin Primal is like, I'm gonna like fly out there and keep the Nemesis occupied while you guys escape. And Battle David's like, no, I can't let you do that. And Justin Primal is like, I'm gonna do it anyway, Prime. And Battle David is like, okay then. But then Black Arachnia pipes up and is like, or you could get me aboard that ship and I could hack its weaponry and then none of us have to die. And Justin is like, all right, well, I like that plan more than mine.
That's better. A lot of the show is like, no, I can't let you do this. And they're like, but Optimus. And he's like, okay.
So Air Razor, there's a really hype moment here where we see like all of like the Beast Wars characters in beast mode like emerging.
Oh,
looking
there are
up.
hype moments this episode.
That was a hype moment, and they all transform. Justin Primal like super apes like toward the Nemesis with his blades out. He cuts a Seeker in half, and I'm like, hell yeah! I was actually here for it.
Part of me was like, there's still Seekers left.
And part of me was like, why weren't we doing this all season? Why couldn't spoilers for my rating at the end of this episode of the podcast, but I actually really liked this episode of Kingdom, and I'm like, why couldn't we have had stuff like this going on all season? So we get like
that's kind of what I felt. Yeah,
we get a big aerial battle. They get aboard the Nemesis. There's a big battle.
They surround Soundwave. The cats fight Ravage,
Covert Agent Ravage fights Cheetor in beast mode,
and he almost takes Cheetor out. And then Tigatron leaps and grabs his neck like a parent cat picking up a kitten.
And then he punches him in the face, and then he kicks him, and he calls him stupid. And then Optimus comes in, and he kicks him in the face.
There is an interesting moment during all of this, either because he's too hurt or whatever. Like OG Megatron's just sitting in his throne, and he's like, Galvatron, dispatch of them. And I'm like, why are you just sitting there, dude? And
I noticed
like,
that.
With pleasure, Lord Megatron.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. He's just sitting in the captain's chair while everyone's fighting, but he's just chilling out. And it's like, but why?
You have an arm cannon.
Yeah.
And then when he loses, he's like, well, shit. And he abandons the bridge to take matters into his own hands. And I'm why didn't you do that earlier?
Well, because they're about to destroy the Ark with because they've been bombarding it with weapons. The shields were at 9%. One more shot.
It has one more shot. Yeah.
One more shot would have taken them out. But then Black Arachnia hacks the weapon system and disables it.
And so this is the part where you know how we were making fun of Air Razor? You're like, she doesn't have her back rockets when they were introduced her. She has like Iron Man like feet and hand jets. In the scene where she's hacking the system, Black Arachnia, and Air Razor is covering her, she's like doing hand blasts. Like,
oh god.
Did you recall that?
No, I missed
He's actually like shooting like blasts out of her like palms like Iron Man. And I'm like, guys.
She has even the toy, like she has darts like on her forearms that she shoots.
Yeah, and they're like in a way, they're almost like feathered like, or they're like they fit her like color palette or whatever, right? And it's like, why'd they, out of all of the characters, why'd they Iron Man her?
Right.
And it's like, if you even think about betraying us, blah blah blah. And she's like, yeah, shut up and cover my back. And they end up making a daring escape. But she's fighting,
she says, careful, I like it rough, or something like that.
Right. She's like, because when they were going there, she's like, if I even think for 1 second you're going to betray us, I'm going to rip out each of your legs myself.
Yeah.
And she's like, careful, I like it rough. And I'm like, she's the best beast. It's Dinobot and Black Arachnia are the best written and voice acted, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not that the others, aren't good voice actors. Their voices are just different enough that they still resonate in my head.
Well, and say what you want about the performance given of Galavar in this show. It's memorable.
That and that's the thing.
It's memorable.
It's memorable. Fuck. Yes. Indeed. Lord Megatron.
It is you, isn't it? My Megatron. Yes.
Another pina colada, sir. Foot massage.
Can I get you anything, Lord Megatron? Anything you need.
No. Release the Scorponok. So that happens, by the way. In a point number 5, I forgot where I'm at now. Scorponok isn't a dude. Scorponok is like the who's the like a seeker or a impactor
or refractor.
Refractor constructor is like the refractor of the Predacons, I guess. Because not only does a bunch of Scorponoks come out, but they don't really talk, and they're smaller than Airazor. They're like little minion Scorponoks or something.
To be fair, the toy of Scorponok is quite
He's
short.
A short dude. He's a short king. Yeah, right? He's like very broad and short.
Not a big fan of that Kingdom Scorponok figure.
Is that the one I got?
Yeah.
He's a little boxy.
Yeah.
He's a little...
And he's got like he got like little like stubby legs.
He does, yeah. And if you watched Beast Wars with us, folks, he doesn't skip arm or leg day or chest day. But this one,
yeah,
in Battle for Robot Planet Empire, he's weird and little and annoying and kind of ineffective. Like he's just running like a mob NPC at Airazor, and she's playing use map settings on StarCraft 1.
Okay.
Like a defend did you ever do that in like Warcraft or StarCraft?
The only
use map settings games.
The only RTSs I ever really played back in the day was the Command and Conquer games.
Did you ever play any of the custom scenarios where like you get to choose a character and you level up and
maybe?
We're talking about decades old, ancient PC shit, folks. But what's going on here? They hack it, so there's losing on the right.
So Megatron is Soundwave is like, Lord Megatron, like our weapons have been disabled, and Megatron's like stands up and he's like, open the hatch. He's like, but sir, we have no weapons. Open the hatch. He opens the socket.
Am a weapon.
I was like, I thought that was a pretty hype line. And so he transforms into tank mode and goes to like fire at the arc. Meanwhile,
this time like charging it up.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
so you can press square to shoot, or you can hold square to charge shot.
Meanwhile, Galavar and Justin are battling on the bridge, and it's actually a pretty good fight. And they have some good banter back and forth.
Finally, another plus to the episode. Like I've been ripping into it, and you've been like, well, no, I liked the golden disc breaking. You didn't. We've had parts or whatever, but there are a lot of really hype parts.
Yeah.
And the banter between our King Kong and our Our gods Gojiro.
Between King Kong and Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. King Kong and Jurassic Park are fighting and they're shit talking and they're like, no you. And King Kong tries to do the jaw break thing and he's like, get out of here.
Yeah,
Justin Primal's like, gingivitis. and the camera cuts back to I was gonna say Galavara, OG Megatron, and he's like, I'm a firing my laser. And Starscream's like,
he shows
Starscream. Starscream saves the galaxy, folks.
You know, it's funny that you just referenced the Superman music, because guess what I watched last night? I watched the
Superman.
I watched Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
I was gonna say Superman 2.
Yeah, specifically the Richard Donner cut that they released in 2006. I watched that last night, so it's funny that you brought that up.
There's many Superman movies, and I don't know why, but I was gonna go with Superman 2.
Yeah,
just because it's probably the most obscure one.
No,
like Man of Steel or anything like that.
No, Superman 2 is like a lot of people's favorite. It's the one with General Zod.
That's true. That's my favorite. I just meant in terms of like particularly like you really like Man of Steel and like whatever, and I'm like, no. So hey, didn't I just make a Zod reference randomly like on something too? You had posted something cringe in the news channel on our Discord.
Yeah, you were like,
thanks Zod.
You were like, thanks Zod. You know what? Maybe that's why I got the subconscious desire to watch Superman 2.
Yeah, what was the cringe? Folks, we have a Discord. You should check it out. It's mostly just like a lot of shit posting.
Yeah,
also
pretty much.
Glimpses into potential news articles. Is it on the Lasercomb? It must have been. Not the cyberpunk future I was hoping for. Polygon something? Was it some Polygon cringe? Oh no, it was hard drive news. Silent Hill fan just thankful no NFTs were announced.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny when news satire is actually true,
and that's the thing. And you're like, is this satire or is this news?
So anyway, Starscream.
If you ask Polygon, they probably think that they're news.
So, folks, it's for the past like few weeks now, or I guess months now, but in particular the past few weeks, me and I've come to a point with the gaming website Polygon.com where I'm literally just going to it to just see whatever nonsense they post, because they post some of the stupidest shit out there.
Remember when they had like inside scoops and journalists?
Well, and I have such a weird relationship with Polygon.com, too, because they were founded by Justin McElroy and Chris Grant, formerly of Joystick.com, which was my favorite gaming news blog back in the 2000s. And I really like their podcast, which is where the I get Lasercomb from. It's a reference to a bit on one episode of the old Joystick podcast. So they founded Polygon back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I really like them. Justin McElroy is no longer with Polygon, but Chris Grant, I think, still. But Chris Grant is still at Polygon, if I'm not mistaken. But they are a wildly different website now than they were 10 years ago. And
it's kind of weird seeing something slowly die to like shift with the times, like slowly just turn into clickbaity bullshit.
Like they had an article on there a while, maybe about a month ago, that called Final Fantasy X, a PlayStation 2 game from 2001, indicative of quintessential 90s fashion. Like
not
the way the
90s
characters,
like video gaming.
90s fashion.
And
I
Google
remember
Final Fantasy X, folks, and take a look at those clothes.
I remember the 90s quite well. People didn't fucking dress like that. I've actually
like
said
cosplay characters from Final Fantasy. No, they didn't.
No. No, they didn't. I think actually probably the most indicative of 90s fashion is the movie Mallrats. Like, look at how characters are dressed in that movie. That is how young people dressed in the 90s.
Love it or hate it, man. People wear baggy jeans.
Yep.
What the fuck? I just Googled like Final Fantasy X,
Yeah.
right? No humans in the history of humankind have ever dressed like these characters, except for people cosplaying as these characters.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are they trying to say that's like it's like rave culture? Because like I can kind of see, what are those pants with like all the different straps and belts on them? Those like rave pants.
Hot Topic pants.
But like also no, I'm sorry. There's nothing in here that is reminiscent of 90s fashion. Like the busty goth MILF with like belts for a dress.
That's a really cool design, and I like it, but no one dresses that way.
No.
No.
The old drunk like samurai that breathes fire.
But yeah, so anyway, it's become a recurring thing with me and Cal, kind of off mic, where we just like shit talk Polygon now. And indeed, like I said, I just go there now just to see like whatever nonsense they are gonna post today.
Yeah. What was the one that had me all caps?
Oh, their review of Bayonetta 3, which just went up, was basically the person was like, I'm a big fan of this franchise, and I always thought it was about female empowerment and the empowerment of feminine sexuality and blah, blah, blah. Bayonetta 3 makes it clear that it's actually just designed to make dudes jerk off. And I'm like, and that sucks. 0 out of 10. And I'm like, that's what fucking Bayonetta always was. Like, she's just supposed to be an eye candy character.
But also just cool. Have you ever played it?
I'm not a fan.
I dig the Devil May Cry. I dig like Bayonetta, like that kind of like combo, like shooter, beat 'em up kind of like thing. And you quickly get over her just like, being like a naked witch that has hair magic, into her being like really, really cool. And saying that you can't be eye candy for dudes to jerk off with and a feminist is kind of like, or like an icon of female empowerment is kind of gatekeeping.
Well, and indeed, it was in essence
slut shaming.
In essence, it was the like the writer of this review had like headcanoned something and headcanoned it so hard that when it turned out to just be nothing more than simple headcanon, they were disappointed. Which is something you see a lot of. Looking at you, Star Wars fans. Anyway.
See, if you have no expectations, your little feelings can't get hurt. That's right.
Come at me.
And oh yeah, then we for like 15 minutes this morning we were just like making like jokes like back and forth about it. And I'm like, well, if I'm ever faced with homelessness, I know I can, as a last resort, I can always fall back to writing articles and sling shit on the internet for a living with Polygon. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure many people from Polygon are listening to our episode 99 of a fucking like TV show that they were born after reading, or born after it's.
Well, and when I was talking about the when we were initially talking about the Final Fantasy X like quintessential 90s fashion thing, I said to Cal, I was like, this is a prime example of someone who was probably born in 1999 trying to tell us what the 90s were like.
Man, the 90s. Remember the 90s when everybody had Japanese protagonist hair? and Hot Topic pants and skirts made out of belts. Yeah. So, all right, to jump back in the episode and stop shitting on Polygon, which could be it could be like
That could be a podcast
that
unto
could be a
itself.
podcast, yeah.
We just make fun of Polygon articles
But the
every
thing
week.
is, Polygon articles are so far away from anything newsworthy that they're like not even kind of worth making fun of, which we do on the Patreon. We have like a laser comb tonight segment where we kind of like go over
Recent
different
news.
news articles. Yeah. Inevitably shit talking the insanity of Elon Musk along the way. But Polygon's not even worth like
No.
they don't have news anymore.
No.
It's like, what top 10 video games will make your genitalia bigger? Click here to find out. Unless you're afraid of your dick getting bigger.
One really cringy thing I remember reading on there a while ago was around the time like Resident Evil Village got unveiled and Lady D made a big splash on the internet.
Oh yeah.
And someone wrote an article that was like these are my fetishes. Like I'm into this, and this, and I feel like Capcom is noticing me with this character. And this was like a big, like straight up article about this person just talking about their kinks and feeling like Capcom was specifically like being inclusive to them and their fetishes by creating this character. It was a fucking weird
See what
article.
I mean by like, if I like literally have no other options left? Fill out my resume as per your recommendations that you had said. Show up and they're like, what can you offer us? I do like a TikTok or like a Fortnite dance, and they're like, you're hired.
Yeah.
Ooh, tall vampire, tall goth mommy vampire. Ooh woo. Everything I wanted. And it's like, what's more concerning is the series' obsession with cutting off my homie's left hand over and over again. Let this man keep his hands. Let this man keep his hands.
What else is he going to fap with?
He's got to get real flexible. Learn to use his mouth or feet.
That man
I don't want to
needs
give Capcom any more ideas, though.
that man needs his hands, damn it. We've got Lady D and we've got her hot vampire daughters.
Yeah. And to not agree with that article or whatever, but there's a lot of
service.
Fan service, yeah, let's just say that. But it goes to show you, shit sells because we're talking about it.
True. So let's not talk about it anymore.
All right, so what happened? Dun, da, 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 da. Like
Yeah,
Starscream shows up and he's like, stop right there, criminal scum. And instead of just like fighting him immediately, Megatron goes, Starscream, you idiot, like just like old times. But it's not just like old times.
Starscream is
in fisticuffs over a lava pit.
Yeah, Starscream. Well, they're still on the hatch of the Nemesis.
The hanging hatch, yeah.
Yeah. Starscream is like, hey, guess what, homie? You become Galvatron, a slave to Unicron. So you were born a slave to the gladiator pits, and you'll die a slave to Unicron. Full circle. And I'm like,
and you were born born
to be alive.
But yeah, you were saying
I kind of dig that full circle nature of that.
You know, I never thought about that, but there you go, episode. There is good writing in here. You do remember past episodes. And Megatron's like, shut up, Starscream. And he's like dangling him over the edge.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I mean, is this a threat? Like, homie can fly.
Well, and indeed, Starscream even says, he's like, hey, buddy, you're forgetting one thing. I can fly. And he kicks off.
Yeah.
he says some stuff about like Unicron thinking that he's too weak to do anything to change the timeline because like this has all been orchestrated. The whole war, everything's been orchestrated by Unicron. He's like he thinks I'm too weak to do anything to try and change it, but he's wrong. I'm strong. I'm way tougher than they think I am.
And
I'm
indeed,
actually real tough. Okay,
I'm actually real tough. Do you know
I'm
how
like-
tough I am?
I'm like the toughest fucking guy you'll ever meet.
I'm so tough that I'm willing to admit that we got to put our differences aside and work with the Autobots. And Megatron's like, oh shit, that is really tough. But no, he's like,
Away with
he's
you.
like, away with you, scum. Ugh.
Hey, with
but
your
he's like,
blood.
that's what Unicron's afraid of. Us working together, stopping the war, and fighting him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, like Starscream speaks the true. This guy should have like shit his pants like years ago. But I guess all it took was the genocide of an entire race. Visions of Unicron, a potential future from Unicron to make him shit his pants into action.
Yeah. So the Allspark like powers up, reformats the Ark. They're like, because the Ark is about to be destroyed, and Battle David is like, Autobots abandon ship, and they try to leave, but the door is not there anymore, and it's like kind of moving, and they're like, what's going on?
The fuck is going on?
And then
yeah, 'cause
in
they need
action-
to abandon ship.
And then in actually like a really cool shot, like you see like molten lava like everywhere. There's like electricity around, and we see like the Ark emerge in robot form and reach out and grab the Nemesis. And I'm like, this is a fucking sweet moment right here.
Well, what ends up happening is Starscream's like, I can do many things, of which like I can fly. He actually knocks Megatron off the Nemesis.
Yeah.
So like the closest one to coming to kill this guy is Starscream. And Teletran, the scene's going back and forth, and I guess Teletran transformed in time to catch him
Yeah.
in his hand. And I'm like, oh, you could just let him fall, I guess.
Yeah,
but I
I
guess
mean-
Megatron still has a part to play, and it's not really in the Autobots. Like,
It's not their way.
it's not their way, and it's just like, man, the number of it's like Batman.
It's not their way unless it's a nameless Seeker or Refractor copy.
right. I forgot.
Then they'll butcher those things.
It's just right in half, like down the middle, just fucking dead.
So
you know
yeah,
you're in for a bad time if your name's Refractor. No,
So
you're in for a bad time if you know your name is Refractor 382. So yeah, we got Teletran fucking the Nemesis up in one hand. We got Black Arachnia falling out of the ship. We
Air
got,
Razor,
Air Razor catching her. Superman
and Black Arachnia is like my hero and gives her a kiss.
Mm-hmm. So there's something. In the very least, she's very flirtatious and.
Teletran, as we mentioned earlier, explains to the Autobots like how he was able to transform.
I've
Got
seen
this-
things you people wouldn't believe.
pretty much. And so afterward, the aftermath is the Ark's back in ship mode, and they're about to they take off into space, and
Everybody's on it, presumably.
everybody's on it. We see Megatron; he's in a cell.
Starscream's there.
There's like there's this really like dumb shot of when they're boarding the ship. They all have their guns on like the Decepticons and Predacons, with Galavar like right in the front, and they're just casually like strolling as if they've been arrested. And I'm like,
I loved that. Go on, get.
I'm like,
And I'm like, half of them have weapons on their body.
right.
It's not like they just took their guns away.
Oh, also, when on the Nemesis, when the Ark or Teletran has reached out and is holding the ship. There's a shot in there with Justin Primal and Megatron on the bridge, and Megatron straight up has his arm around Justin, his like tail arm. I can't remember exactly where it is. Let me see it.
We'll have to.
Let me do some legitimate journalism here.
But yeah, while you're looking for that, what happens when they're going off is Starscream's spazzing out.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we have to stop the ship. We can't go back to Cybertron. That's what he wants. And everyone's like, oh, geez, crazy old Starscream.
Yeah, what a little rascal he is.
And they go towards a Stargate, a space bridge. And I'm like, why is there a space bridge out here? Did I forget? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, there wasn't one. Because we had to go through the dead universe to get here.
Yeah. So, did the second moon? No, the second moon was a weapon.
Okay, I found it. It's at around 19 minutes and 14 seconds. This is straight up going to be I'm gonna make this the episode art because it's such
1914
around there. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Megatron's just like it just got his arm around him.
They were wrestling, and they looked up. That's a good profile banner. You should use that.
Yeah, actually, that's not bad.
Because and Galvatron's like, what is it? And Justin's like, I don't know. Get your arm off me.
Someone's watching.
Somebody's watching.
We're supposed to keep this.
Justin.
We're supposed to keep this in private. just between you and me.
Just between you and me and your gorilla dick. Yes.
And Lord Megatron as well, if he wants to.
Megatron? Look, where'd he go? So they ignore Starscream, and
yeah, he's like, we can't go back to Cybertron. That's what he wants.
And Gary's like, make it so. And they get ready to jump through the space bridge, which is here.
Yeah, I mean, Battle David is like, Justin is like, he's like, Prime, I gotta thank you. If it wasn't for you, my crew would have never got back to the to Cybertron. And Battle David's like, well, it's not the same Cybertron you're gonna remember, but we're happy to have you.
And I'm like, yeah, they're going like millions of years in the past.
Yeah. And
oh right, yeah. Justin's like, oh, Rhinox said that Ziggy says we can't jump if Rhinox said that like we could like technically dematerialize and cease to exist at any minute. It's all just theoretical. Like we don't know how this timey-wimey bullshit is gonna happen.
And Rhinox is over there like, well, the world's coming to an end anyway, you know. It's 9 a.m. Sounds like a good time for a six-pack.
Oh, wait, I already drank it. He crushes the can on his head.
Hey, Wheeljack, you got any more beer? Want to make a beer run with me? I've had it.
As they're getting ready to jump through the space bridge. All right, hold your horses, which, as we know, you can park inside. It's literally like a Stargate in that once it's open, it like just bridges the two areas as if they're one.
Yeah.
It's not like a mass relay from like Mass Effect where it takes the ship and like slingshots it across the galaxy.
Yeah. So yeah, they jump through the Supergate, and that's the end of the episode.
And then there's something like, wait a second, like I need to, and this, I hate Optimus Prime for this reason, and he's done this like 10 times on the show. He's like, Justin's like, Gary, I need to tell you about like Nemesis Prime. And he's like, that can wait. And I'm like, can it? Shut the fuck, like where else are you? How about now?
Doc, I have to tell you about the future.
What?
I have to tell you about the future.
Ah, no.
On
No,
the
Marty.
night I
No.
go back. Lightning strike.
No. It's kind of what's going on.
It's exactly what it reminded me of. Is like Doc not wanting to hear about the for like the probably like one person who doesn't get the reference. I'm referencing Back to the Future.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing watching Transformers if you've never watched? I prefer my sci-fi to have robots.
I have anytime I've ever referenced Back to the Future, even to like young people like nowadays, everybody always gets the reference. It like
How do you
that
not?
that is
Yeah.
such an iconic film. Like even young people today have seen Back to the Future.
It's one of those things, much like Matrix tropes, where even if you've never seen the movie, it's so present in media. Maybe not recently, but Back to the Future is so present in modern media that people get the references.
Right.
Yeah. And well,
That's the end of the episode. Here on Too Much Energon, we rate episodes of Beast Wars, Beast Machines, War for Cybertron, board games, Japanese Beast Wars animated movies, Beast Wars comic books, Christmas episodes of Transformers Animated.
Polygon articles.
On the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon. Basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what are you rating War for Cybertron, episode 5?
I was shitting on this episode a lot, but like going through the beats of it, I'm like, there's some pretty hype moments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the arc transforming, Teletran transforming was more hype than I remember. Remember it being really gimmicky the first time I had watched this through and I didn't understand it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but you know, the all spark is there and all Transformers need a spark.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense that the all
Oh,
spark
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, good point.
Could give Teletran that like ability to transform and have like full sentience. So yeah, even despite the flaws like here or there, also Starscream's arc and standing up to Megatron, Black Arachnia's like little arc with him and her like sass, and I don't know if this is the first in Battle for Robot Planet Empire, but I think it just cuts into Too Much Energon territory.
Okay.
Like a low Too Much Energon. And it's because, like you had said, why wasn't all of Kingdom like this? Yeah, it does. It does.
All right, I'm going to echo that sentiment. It's also getting a Too Much Energon from me. The arc transforming was hype. Them like actually seeing like Justin Primal super ape toward the Nemesis was a dope moment. The battle,
cut the last Seeker left in half.
the battle on the bridge between him and Galavar was actually a good fight, and we actually like got some we actually got to see them be like enemies of one another.
Beast Wars banter for a change. Yeah, like that felt like classic Beast Wars.
I didn't mention it when we were going over the episode, but on the bridge at one point, Rhinox like goes to beast mode, and Megatron straight up picks him up and throws him.
He goes over and he kind of plows through like a few Predacons or whatever, and actually gores Megatron, who's already wounded.
Yeah,
causing like Energon to ooze
and Megatron
out
still like picks him up and lifts him over his head.
Body slam. That was pretty hype. Yeah, I wanted to mention that part to you too, and I was like, holy shit! Like the fucking Andre the Giant picking up Hulk, doing what's that called? A press, overhead press, where they just drop him.
I think that's called a Fireman's Drop.
Yeah, does Ranger watch this or?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Ranger would know that move. Yeah, or they
We-
just
we-
do like an overhead press and then like step away.
We have quite a few listeners who like pro wrestling, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remind me what that's called. But yeah, he tosses Rhinox like it's nothing, and I'm like, my man from the Gladiator pits.
Yeah, it gets a big old too much energon from me.
There you go. See, we disliked and liked different things. I thought it was hype when Bumblebee was like, "Get this gold disc shit out of my face," and smashes it over his knee, and you looked on in horror.
Well, anyway, that has been episode 99 of Too Much Energon. Best way to support the show, go to patreon.com/lasercomb, where for a mere $5 a month, you get bonus preamble audio. You get our news and current events show, Lasercomb Tonight. You get commentary tracks. You get the ability to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on our other podcast, the Lasercomb podcast, that I inadvertently referenced at the beginning of this episode of Too Much Energon. So if you want to get in on all of that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Follow me on Twitter. I am at Lasercomb, or you can follow the show's Twitter at Too Much Energon. Cal, you are at?
I am at NeoCal, NEO_KAL.
We will be back next week with the big one, folks. Episode 100 of Too Much Energon, where we're going to be
very
talking
special episode of Too Much Energon.
Where we're going to be talking about Battle for Robot Planet Empire, Chapter 6. And until then, I've been one of your hosts, The Siege.
And I'm NeoCal.
And until next time, my hero.
Buckle up. Born to be alive. My lord, Megatron.